What's up, YouTube? It's B4Flex. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about how you can stop blinking. So this is mostly for people who are new to boxing, right? Noobs, right? Or it's for people who have been boxing even up to a year, even more, right? But you've never stopped blinking, right? Maybe you never had a fight or whatever like that. So this is what's helped me out. So first things first, this is coming from a severe blinker, okay? So when I started boxing, I was blinking like crazy, right? I still have moments where I blink, but blinking like crazy, and it was annoying, man. I think this is most people, but I think it's hard to find the adequate advice because, yet again, a lot of these people have been boxing since they was kids, so they don't even remember when they last was blinking like that. So for me, I was blinking at 20. I started boxing after 3-4 weeks of boxing. I was allowed to spar, and when I was sparring, I was blinking like crazy. I just, 1 minute you look at them, they throw a punch, you blink, your eyes are like glued shut. I feel like I couldn't open them. Next minute I open them, finally I'm all right. They're right next to me, pounding me, right? I turn around, bang, I'm getting hit, shut my eyes again. Instinctive or instinctual, whatever. I turn around, they're pounding me again. It was really, really annoying. And I did everything I could think of, right? I looked through the internet for advice. One thing was like, get someone to hit you, light little pitter patter on your forehead, or like be in your high guard. So I did that. I got my girlfriend, got some gloves, and hit me on my forehead and then on my high guard. I just stand there like really light pitter patter shots. And although I was blinking less at the end of the session, overall it didn't help me at all. Overall it didn't do nothing, right? Because I knew the shots weren't there to hurt me. All right. So then I tried. I had a double end bag at the other end of this bag, and I would hit the double end bag, and then it like hit my head back, basically, like right between my two eyes, like on my forehead, kind of thing, between my eyebrows. And it was like, I wasn't blinking as much as when I started, but when I went back to sparring again, I was blinking, right? So it didn't help. Then the final thing I tried before I realized these methods were really useful, was I would splash water into my face, just splash water, and get used to not blinking. And although the logic behind this is meant to work, it didn't work for me, right? Because the minute someone was gonna like punch me, yet again, I was blinking again. So what actually helped me was 3 things, okay? Number 1 is light sparring. So when you're sparring, start off light. See, part of the reason you're blinking, the majority of the reason, the main reason is because of fear, basically, right? There's a fear factor. So if you take away the fear factor from your sparring, you'll be all right. You won't be blinking as much because you're not scared. You know the shots aren't going to hurt you. So even if you get hit, you're not scared, right? So take away the fear factor by light sparring. And I mean light sparring. I know there's a running joke, people say light sparring and then they're just like crushing each other's skulls. I mean genuine light sparring, right? So if you do genuine light sparring, it will help a lot. And I mean from infancy, right? Is in not actual infants, right? But from your infant stage of boxing, when you're brand new to it, when you're brand new to sparring, spar light for like the next 3 months, like touch sparring, technical sparring, pitter patter sparring, whatever you want to call it, right? Do that like that for like 3 months straight, maybe 2, but probably 3 months. I know you need to gut check, right? Test your willpower, your mindset, test your fear, your courage through hard sparring, but do that later on. Do the first 2-3 months just light sparring, right? Getting yourself comfortable with seeing shots come to your face and not being scared. So ideally, you would be light sparring with someone, either someone who's like seasoned as a boxer, because they know how to not put sting into their punches, or it can be with 2 noobs, but just have people who have empathy, man. I'm telling you, one of my first sparring sessions I had at the gym, there was one guy who was just pounding me, man. Goodness gracious me. I was blinking. My eyes were like glued shut. And this guy was not putting it. He threw a leaping left hook, a gazelle hook. Bang, 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 bang. I was still standing, but that was not going to help me stop blinking, So tone it down. Go with someone who has. They can be brand new as well. He wasn't new. He'd been boxing for years. But they can be someone who's brand new. I know there's a running thing that new boxers don't know how to pull their shots. I could pull my shots since day one, right? You just need someone who has empathy, basically, right? Someone who's not a psycho, right? I'm not hating on people, but you know what I mean. Basically, have someone like that, or someone who's experienced and yet again has empathy and is not just trying to stroke their own ego. It could even be your mother, right? It could even be your auntie. It could be your dad, right? Some light pitter patter, just whatever, right? That will help you, right? Basically, for me, I have some guy at my gym. He's a lot lighter than me. We do a lot of light sparring like that, and it helped me like tremendously. It helped me even getting more skillful as well improving in my technique because there was no fear. I wasn't in survival mode. I was in growth mode, right? So you have survival mode where you're just scared for your life or fighting for your life, and then you have the growth mode, and then you have just stagnant mode, right? You have, it's like on a scale of 1 to 10. Survival mode is like probably 8 to 10. Growth is like 4 to 7, and then like stagnant is 0 to 4 basically, or let's say 5 to 7 is growth. So you want to be in that growth mode where it's challenging enough but not too challenging. So keep it technical basically, right? Doing pads will not stop you from blinking. Keep it technical sparring and you'll be all right. So do that for the first 2 to 3 months. I'd say 3 months, but 2 to 3 months is cool. Not when you start boxing, is in when you're ready to start sparring, once you got the technique down, right? The number 2 method is improve your defense. This has been massive for me. So improving your defense, goodness gracious me. You can do that through doing drills like the slip bag, slip rope, just shadow boxing defensively, right? That's helped me like tremendously, because yet again, there's a fear factor. You're like, oh man, if he hits me with this shot, and if he throws, like, for example, let's say he just does a jab, for crying out loud. When you're brand new, you're scared of jabs, right? He throws a jab, you're like, oh man, what's going to follow next? Is a right hand and then a left hook and then whatever. You're just scared. You think everything's going to land, so you're just blinking. When you trust in your defense, when you're like, you know what? He's going to throw a jab, right? He might land a jab, but I'm going to then, for example, use my footwork, step away from the backhand, so I'm gonna be safe, or I'm gonna block the backhand, I'm gonna be safe. You know what I mean? When you realize, you know what, I'm safe, I'm okay, I'm adept at my defense, you're yet again less scared, because you're not scared of what's coming next, right? This is for obviously when you're hard sparring. It helps a lot with your hard sparring, having good defense, right? Or even open sparring. So what I did for defense was, yet again, I did a slip bag and slip rope drills, right? All on my training plan, my pugilist training plan as well. I go in depth as to, you know, how I would drill it basically. But also another thing I did was I would get my girl, she put on some gloves, and then she would just throw shots at me, like pitter patter shots, right? Because she can hit. So pitter patter shots, and I'd just be slipping, blocking, parrying, just literally focusing on defense. Because if you can train your defense for 3 rounds, 3-minute rounds, there's no way you can't be okay sparring 3 2-minute rounds when you're allowed to hit back. Let that sink in. If they're throwing shots at you and you're okay, you're slipping, bang, bang, slipping, blocking, parrying, whatever, you're okay, you're safe for that entire round of boxing just defensively, then when you mix in the offense, psychologically you feel much safer, because you're like, you know what, I was okay without throwing shots, imagine now throwing shots. So that helps a lot. Obviously the person that's going to throw shots likely needs to be a lower level. I say that because if they're more advanced, then eventually she was just catching me, right? So you know, you want someone who's not as advanced. Not saying she's advanced, but she got better. But anyways, next up, what you want to do is, so that's number 2, defense. Number 3 is self-talk. So you need to talk to yourself. So let's say you go into another gym, right, and you're getting beat up, you're getting blasted, but you're still on your feet. That's the time you need to talk to yourself. You need to say, hey, are we okay? Just checking in. We still here? Are we alive? Okay, cool. So it wasn't that bad, right? Stuff like that. I've had sparring sessions where I've been at another gym. I remember one of them in particular, I'll never forget. I was getting blasted, man. This guy was taller than me. He was southpaw. I think I don't mind when they're taller than me, but he was also southpaw, which was like, damn, right? And then not only that, he hit hard too. Goodness gracious me, it was tough, man. He hit me with a jab. I was like, damn. He was heavier than me, obviously. He was like, I was 86. He was like 90 something, but it was still like, damn. It was like yo, snap, you know. And I hadn't sparred in ages. It was forever since I'd sparred, because I was busy working on something on YouTube. This was a couple months ago, a few months, like 6 months ago. But either way, I was talking to myself during that sparring session. I was like, you know, damn, he landed a good shot. Am I still here? I'm cool. All right, cool. Let's keep going. Oh man, he landed a good shot. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. It's okay. Am I rocked? No, I'm cool. Okay, let's keep going. It wasn't that bad. And continuing to talk to myself. This isn't the only session I've spoken to myself, but basically telling myself, am I in danger? No. There is a danger here, but I'm not in danger. And continuously reassuring myself helped so much, right? It helped so much in my growth as a boxer. Because yet again, you're scared of getting hit, but you realize it doesn't always help with everyone. When you swim, you're going to get wet, right? So when you spar, you're going to get hit. When you fight, you're going to get hit. But if you do things like this, where you self-talk to yourself, you realize, you know, I'm going to get hit, but it's okay. Because look, I just got hit and I was okay. And keep doing this continuously as you do your open or hard sparring, right? Or your light sparring when it's not actually light sparring. and eventually you'll find that you won't be blinking as much, right? So these 3 things. Number 1, light spar for the first 2-3 months. That's important. I didn't get to do that because, not every coach has that as their mindset. But a lot of these coaches were boxing since they was kids. They don't understand the psychology of going into boxing as an adult or just a brand new, fresh boxer, right? So there's that. Number 2 is the focus on your defense. As I said, these defensive drills have helped me tremendously. My second and third fight, my girl did those drills with me, where she was just throwing shots and I was just focusing on blocking, slipping, parrying, stuff like that, right? I did them for I think 3 rounds or 6 rounds before my second fight and 3 rounds before my third fight. So by the time I was fighting, why would I blink? I just had a bunch of shots being thrown at me. It was nothing new, right? So maybe you have a fight coming up or you have a sparring session you're nervous about at another gym. Get your mother or something, right? Just to throw some shots at you, man. Get your sister, get your brother, something like that. Just throw some light shots at you whilst you're focusing on defending, slipping and stuff like that, right? It makes you extremely comfortable, right? And then finally, self-talk. Talk to yourself. If you ever have a hard sparring session, reassure yourself. And obviously, if you get dropped, it's hard to reassure yourself. Not been dropped yet, so I don't know what that psychology is like, right? You might have to go into another YouTuber who understands that. But talk to yourself during those sessions. Reassure yourself because you'll be all right. And that's how it worked for me. I had my coach telling me, just don't worry about it. It will go over time. It didn't. I had to take these approaches for me to stop, to get rid of that fear, basically. I'll make another video addressing fear in full as well. But this I think will help a lot of people who are struggling with blinking. Anyways, be for Flex, and I'm out.